everybody. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm a few minutes late here. Oh, holy Toledo, what a day, what a day. So welcome, welcome. For those of you, I'm going to wait just a second in case somebody decided to stick around and stay on. I got one of those little gnats in my room. So here we're to talk about the new moon that is going to happen on the 16th. Are you guys ready? Because I've been looking over my notes, my astrology notes, and stuff like that. So we are actually moving into a full moon on the 16th. Actually, it's moving into the new moon on the 15th. However, the 16th around, I think it's around noon, is going to be full. Yeah. So we're going to do a reading on that. There is a lot of energies not only mixing in with the moon, the planets and everything are actually being pretty intense. We've got several planets. We've got Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus, Venus, and all these planets that are moving in towards the end of the month. As I go through the reading with the new moon, you guys are going to be sort of shocked. So this is not only, I'm going to move this back just a little bit, give myself a little bit more room. But this is not only just, your sign alone, it's all the signs. And I think you're going to be surprised. You might want to take a note or two because it is just crazy. So right now, for those of you that are logging on, I thank you coming in. I appreciate that. But this is for you guys, not for me. So if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. And see what you're. Hey, Felix. Hey, only 5 minutes late this time or less. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. But don't forget to ask if you want to ask questions or anything. So I am going to go through a little bit from the October 13th forward because we're moving some things into the new moon that we really want to pay attention to. So today is the 11th. So I would say the 13th through the 16th as the new moon's getting ready to come in. We want to really pay attention to a couple of things. So on the 13th through the November 2nd, we've got Mercury going into another retrograde. And that's going to happen. That's going into a retrograde with Uranus. So that's going to happen on the 7th and the 19th. We've got 2 retrogrades Mercury's going to have. So those aren't as impactful of what the moon and Mars retrograde is bringing in right now. So what I would love to know, if anybody out there is feeling the conflict energies of the Mars retrograde right now. Wherever you are in the world, are you feeling like conflict? Are you feeling like anxiety? Are you feeling like there's just that energy of wanting to bicker or tell your side and make sure your side knows and then it gets opposed? I would really love to know that because that's the Mars retrograde energy. And do you think that the new moon is going to make a difference? No. It's not. The only thing is the new moon is moving into Libra. And when it comes in, and Libra wants everything to be fair for everybody. Mars, on the other hand, not so much. So this new moon moving into Libra is actually saying, well, can we make it fair for everybody? And Mars is saying, are you freaking kidding me? No way. Come on. That's the way the energies are going to be with this new moon. So, and then later on, the sun moves into Scorpio and things are going to get more extreme, and we'll explain that here. So we do have one energy out for I'm going to do the reading from basically the 16th through the end of the month, and because we not only have the new moon on the 16th, we also have a blood moon, hunter's moon on the 31st. But the big thing about that moon is a blue moon. So, and that, like the old saying goes, it happens in a blue moon. That's really what is pretty much it's about. But the energies around this blue moon, We got to really, really, really focus on ourselves. We really, really do. So let's get started. So we've got two energies out, and I can see these two happening. Let me see if there's a third one here. Oh, there's 3, 4. Let me see what's going on with these. So the first one out we have is a wide open. That is going to make complete sense with this new moon, because you are going to have wide open chances to pick your own battles. So what it means is it's going to be sort of still very conflicting because of Mars, but with this new moon in Libra, it's like, again, can it be fair? Can you be not? So this is basically going to say you have the wide open chance to pick your battles and try not to do the battles that are going to create opposition, because you may not win, and then it creates a lot of animosity. Again, listening. This is an excellent oracle out, because with the new moon being in Libra, you're going to have to listen not only to what you need, but what to other people need. Again, I'm going to go back to that, my perception is not your perception. You're going to have to listen to what the other person's perception is and gather that information and determine the truth, not your truth, but the truth out of it. And you're like, well, what is that supposed to mean? Well, my truth, I'm human, so that doesn't count. Truth comes from before the fact, from the divine or the creator. What is the truth of that? Is there love? Is there fact in it? Is there, do you have evidence to show proof? That kind of thing. But you do need to listen, because as I will tell you later with the energies here, because if you're in the United States, we're coming up to election. We also have riots. We also have anger, hostility with the racism issues, all that stuff that's going on. This needs to really, really happen for everybody to be able to listen to everybody and determine their own. Now, what is your own opinion is your own opinion. Now, this doesn't mean just politically. This means for everything. This means for your life, for your career, for your family, for your love, whatever that is. Then we've also got intuition. Somebody's doubting their intuition. That goes into play with listening. And that was the third card out. And the reason why I say that is because your intuition is going to guide you when to back up, when to move forward, because that new moon is all about, being fair to everybody. But in all reality, we can't, because of the way that the situation is, and everybody's head is not the same. Everybody's journey is not the same. So it's going to be really on you to pay attention to your intuition, or that gut feeling. If you don't know what intuition is, everybody has that gut feeling, man, this doesn't sound right, this doesn't feel right. And if it doesn't sound right, ask for the facts. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with asking for the facts. And that is exactly what is flying with the next card. It's all about overseeing and getting what you really want and deserve in life, but you oversee the whole thing, making sure everything is in order to be able to receive it. Now, with the new moon on the 16th, then we start going towards that full moon. Then that is the time we get into the waning and the waxing, and that's releasing. Getting rid of, like we did in a lot of your readings, getting rid of the garbage, getting rid of the old history that you're carrying into the new reset, because that is purging, resetting, and that's going to go way into the next year. Those energies are going to go way into the next year. So that is what the new moon is bringing on. So you're going to have this conflict of, you can't please everybody all the time, but on the other hand, you can't fight or conflict with everybody all the time. So you're going to have to find a happy medium. Now, with that said, what you really want to understand, because it says Mars is a conflicting warrior planet, right? So what that means is conflict doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can actually be a very positive thing, but you have to see the sides of everything. You have to look at everything. Not everybody wants to do that. Some people want to be like a racehorse, put the blinders on and do what they want and believe what they want, and keep those filters on so that they can actually see what they see, even if it's distorted. Even if it's distorted. Imagine, I was listening to a inspirational speaker, and he actually used these as a visual aid. He had these big, huge glasses, and they sort of were purplish. And so he says he puts them on, and he had somebody come stand and had a yellow piece of paper. And he says, well, what color is that piece of paper? And the person holding it said, yellow. And he said, no, it's purple. And he's like, no, it's yellow. But he had to take the glasses off to see that it was really yellow, because the filter. We do that as human beings on everything. From the 16th to the 31st, take your filters off, because it will make things more easier, like riding a wave rather than fighting the surf. You know what I mean? I'm a scuba diver, so I've had to dive in a surf. Let me tell you, that's no fun. But when I had to come back up and ride that wave in, it was a lot nicer. So these are huge, huge energies for the next 2 weeks. Listening to your intuition, paying attention to that gut feeling, trying to lift your vibrations up. This is going to be really, really huge, because on the 19th, we've got Uranus opposing Mercury, and there's going to be something's going on where there's going to be some news coming out that we didn't expect, or there's going to be something big that we wouldn't have expected. And I don't know if that's a good thing or if it's a bad thing, because that's an energy, that's sort of a frequency energy kind of thing. So I don't know what is going to be happening on that day, but there should be something of news that day. Also, too, this is a time from the 19th to go forward to be listening to yourself, your deeper self. What is your deeper self saying? If you have dreams and desires from the 19th to the end of the month, this is the time, as I told many of you in your readings, to start planting that seed. The intention from the 19th to the 31st, plant the seed. Doesn't mean the seed is growing yet. It is there. It's getting the nutrients it needs to start, but it might not be started yet. But it is something that actually is supposed to be coming into fruition for you. And it's a good thing. Towards the end of the month, where we have the blue moon and the blood moon, or the hunter's moon, that is a time where things begin to start to switch a little bit, but they switch with an intensity. Now, whether that intensity depends on how we perceive everything and how we manage our own energies, where that's going to be. So if you've been working from the 19th to the 31st to lift your vibrations, lift your frequencies, lift your energies, and what I mean by that is bringing in some things that make you joyful, things that make you happy, things that you love to do, things that bring in, I figured that, energies that are going to lift you up, whether it takes, thank you. So they're saying that when your energies become shaken, like your anxiety is starting to build because something is happening or being said, or somebody's doing something to really just rock your boat a little bit, is to find something immediately to switch that thought process, because what's happening is then your energies and your vibrations are being lowered. So you want to keep them at a high frequency and a high energy, because that's where love and life is, or love and light is. So you want to do that, lift those up. That's going to be happening. For some of you, I had stated about the what do you call it? The marching band cymbals, boom, boom, and they're very loud and they're very vibrating. They're very big energies. Well, that's where your head's going to be for the next couple of weeks. That's why it's really important for you to focus on your deeper self and what it is mean, what you mean to yourself, what your identity is, what you want in life, what your goals and dreams. Make your bucket list. This is a good time to make your bucket list and just throw those seeds in the ground. and you'll see whatever ones that are most important start popping up, because we do have planting the seed right out of the chute. This is the first card that is pulled, and that is an Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is all about planting, all about the start. This is about the start. But here is the issue. Not all of you, but some of you were like, yeah, whatever. I just don't believe in that stuff. Or, yeah, and they've got this lower vibration, lower energy, lower frequency, and they're negative. So all you're focusing in on is the negative, the past, when you need to flip it. Try it and see what happens, because if you flip that energy and you start thinking differently, you'll be really, really surprised at what's going on. Like one of the oracles says, if you long for love, then you will attract love. Go get it. Go get it. That kind of a thing. So somebody is definitely, and that's an energy that's going to make you stuck. And that energy will keep you stuck through the month. And you know what? Thank you. So they're saying that if you stay stuck in this and you don't ride that wave, then you're going to make it harder for yourself, and you're going to become your own worst enemy, which you do. That's just common sense. That's just logical sense. So be really, really mindful at how you're thinking and how you're acting and how you're speaking. And the thing is, when that little voice in your head tells you, hey, that's not a good way to think, or hey, how about this, or hey, in a positive vibrational manner, and then you poo-poo it, that's the divine trying to guide you to something better. Why wouldn't you want that? That's what he's trying to guide you. And this is in the next 2 weeks. This is in the next 2 weeks. So I'm also looking at some of these. There's so many planets moving. I couldn't even keep track of them all. I'm not that sophisticated in it, but some of these astrologers, I just can't. It's like some of it is like, I know a master, and he's just, I'm like, say what? Can you repeat that again? All right. So just know the 19th is coming for that also. Let's see here. Let me look at this for a second. Okay. Well, thank you. So here's the thing too, and this is probably the biggest thing to take away from the next 2 weeks after the new moon, because you know how we say history repeats itself? That's what's happening. So from the 19th even into the first of the year, we are actually replaying backwards, even from when January started of this year. Big news, news that came out in January, to at least to the United States. I don't know about other countries, that actually COVID was coming out, and it was a big thing. And then we got the mortality rates of China on the 19th of January. I think it was the 19th of January, but in January. So on the 19th, when these planets, let's see what's moving around on the 19th. We've got Jupiter and Saturn. We've got, there's 3 planets. We've got Jupiter and Saturn, and then we have Neptune, Uranus is, and then we've also got a Mercury retrograde. So we've got Uranus opposing Mercury. So from the 19th on, you've got a whole bunch of stuff that is being replayed. It's like watching the same movie over. So what has ever been happening, big news in January. And remember, I had said that there was going to be some big news. We don't know what. We've got the election going. It could be something else. But the thing is, there's big news. And it's going to be like, okay, now what do I do? Now what do I believe in? Wait a minute. It was going to be like, whoa, didn't expect that coming. That's what the energy is going to be from the 19th forward. And then you're going to be questioning things. This makes sense right here. Makes total sense. So the 2 of Swords, again, is all about truth. You've got to pay attention to the facts, not the false. You got to look at the reality, not the fiction or the fantasy. You really have to become your own detective of what is true for you. So, because, and I got to be careful with that, because a lot of people will say, well, what I believe in is true. No, it isn't. It depends on where you get your information. For example, I grew up, Catholic, and that very, very young on, and I left at 18 because I'm like, these facts are not adding up to me. Even at that young age, I knew I had gifts since I was a little kid. But the thing is, I knew that something was really off and not right for me. So I had to go and research and find the facts of what was really possibly more true reality than what I was believing or told all my life. Again, remember, some of you guys had the, I forgot which oracle it is, where you're actually bringing everything from your past forward. And like in my videos that I talk about walking the truth, is it really, are you actually being your true self? Are you going and getting your depth inside? And that way you will know exactly which way to go. You will know which way to go. And there won't be any problem in that decision, because it's more of a higher level. It's more of a higher vibration. It's more of a spiritual decision rather than an earthly, material, human decision. We say secular decision kind of thing. So, again, somebody is actually going to be struggling with that and needing to really figure out the truth. Also, too, from the 19th forward, there is more awakenings going to be happening, because Jupiter is coming into conjunction with Saturn. That doesn't happen for 200 years. 200 years. So the patterns that we're setting up now, and that's in Aries for I think it's another 100 years, I believe. So anyway, it could be the 200 years too. I'd have to ask my guy who I learned from. So what that means is, for us human beings, is we've been living our life through government and government control and things like that, because that it's a control thing. And what controls us most of the time is our governments, right? So it's going to become more of an energy where it's shifting more to a community decision, more of the people's decision, that kind of thing. So you'll find that everything that is changing, because it is purge and reset, purge and reset. That's all I can keep saying. If you want to write that down in your notes, Patty says purge and reset. That's basically what's happening, because we are resetting. Again, we are repeating history. We're repeating history. Will we be around to see what's going to be happening? I have no idea, because that's up to the divine. But the thing is, we're repeating history. So if we go back in history and see where the government fell, even like in the Roman times, the government fell and they had to rebuild and reset, then we're doing the same thing. So what works, what doesn't work? We're in the United States, we're in a melting pot, and we're a mess. So, that kind of thing. But again, so we have, and this is going to be very, very true for the next couple of weeks. Queen of Wands is all about, again, communication, setting up good communication. If you're in a relationship, this is a perfect time to really sit down with your honey and say, hey, you know what, let's sort of plan out these next 6 months, or what do you want to do? What's on your bucket list for the next 6 months? What do we want to plant for these next 2 weeks? What do we want to do? Where do we want to go? That kind of thing. So, this is a time, and especially at work, if you're wanting a promotion, if you're wanting to grow in a company, this is a perfect time to tell your bosses, say, hey, you know what? I've been really working hard. What are the chances of me getting, growing up into another position, or growing into maybe management or whatever? This is the time to do this, especially more towards the last week of October. So again, we're looking at new seeds. Really got to be listening, paying attention. For those of you that are just coming in, you're very welcome to comment, or if you have questions, that's really great. Thank you. But I'm going to just reiterate, this is a time with this new moon. We're going to have to really understand what battles to pick, when to be quiet, when to go, listen to our intuition. And if you are in the negative mindset of like, you know what, I have an excuse for everything, you're going to have a real hard time. Interesting, this popped right up when I said that. Okay, so the eight of swords, for the people that don't know, is all about victim thinking. Victim, like, oh, it's his fault I'm this way, or it's her fault I'm this way, and I just don't know how to get out of this. That's exactly what. And this is where this came in, right? Can't happen. You got to. So Mars is the real power fire planet right now, and it's in a retrograde. It's got a lot of power. You got to learn to use that power in a positive manner rather than saying, woe is me and all this. You got to turn around and say, you know what? I ain't going to stand for this. You got to turn it around. Use that conflict energy to the positive. And that's where you're going to get away from this. You're going to get away from this non-decisiveness. Because again, it's the end. It's planting this seed. It's all about planting this seed, because we are, and you've got to plant it differently. We've got, even as a community, we all have to come together and start planting it differently, because we will repeat patterns. We will repeat history. God forbid we don't want to repeat like the Holocaust. We don't want to repeat, African genocide. We do not want to repeat those horrible, horrible, horrible energies. We want to break away, and oh, I'm getting goosebumps everywhere. Thank you. We want to break away from that. Ooh, had a card that was turned, didn't even know it. Oh, yeah. I can't make this up, people. I'm talking about breaking chains. And what is the devil? Keeping us bonded. What is happening on this earth is keeping us bonded. It is time to break the chains. Wow. Thank you, Divine. Boy, I can't get more powerful than that. I have to thank him, because I'm getting goosebumps, you guys. That's just verification that things are going on. This is his playground. This is his playground. And this is where he wants you to stay. He wants you to stay sad, angry. He wants to have you stay bitter. He wants you to be depressed. He wants you don't ever even think of suicide. If you do that, then he wins. That's a bondage thing. This is an earthly secular bondage that you need to break away. The divine is all about love and light and helping and compassion and all those kind of things. The devil's right here. If you look at these two chains, oops, wrong one. If you look at these two chains, they're really sort of loose, right? They can break away anytime they want, but they choose to stay there. Why? I don't get it. Why would you want to stay in bondage? But that's part of the growing process. That is part of the healing process. That is that part. These next 2 weeks with Uranus there, Uranus is all about healing and all about growing. So that is a huge, huge energy in all of this. And what does he show up next to? He shows up right next to her. But that could be a guy too. That could be a guy. That could be a guy. Those swords, all those swords, it's all about dividing. All about dividing. Wow. Oh yeah, definitely. We have that opportunity. What choice are we going to make? How are we going to do it? How are we going to grow? Boy, what energies. This reading is, whew, I didn't expect it to be this big, but it is right on the money. All right. So let's see what we're going to do for the rest of the month, though. Gosh, another one? Oh. Yeah. This definitely, wow, that's so flippin' powerful. So flipping powerful. So the devil is there giving you a choice to break your chains, break your knot. You're given in the center card the opportunity, but then the swords want to steal it, to take it away. Again, this is all about choice, mindset, and attitude. Wow, wow, wow. And if it's not, yourself that is going to allow this to happen. Somebody take your joy away, take that away, which you can't. You cannot release that. You have the power of your own joy, your own self, your own thoughts. That's the only thing on earth that you actually have that nobody can take. Your thoughts, your feelings. Now, thank you for that. So they're saying, yes, we do give you all those feelings. We do that. But here on this last week, when the energies are even intensifying even more, you can have those feelings, but be mindful. You don't have to share every single one. So a lot of people are like, well, can't I share? Can I share? Can I share? Well, there are some things that maybe you should be kept to yourself because, again, we get into this perception versus another person's perception. Are you doing it because you're trying to make a point and it could create animosity? Ask yourself, what is it that you're actually making that point for? Is it to deepen your knowledge? Is it to deepen your relationship with the divine, or is it or the universe, or whoever you believe in? Is it to deepen that knowledge? Because that last week is all about deepening your self-knowledge. That last week of October, because we're getting ready for that blue moon. Getting ready for that blue moon. And so that's really, really important to say, to express your feeling. It is very important to do that because I got to walk a fine line here. It's not that I wouldn't want you to express your feelings. Everybody has feelings. We want to express them. But again, what is the point for expressing them? Is it going to create destruction? Is it going to, the sword can divide as well as it can actually share the truth. So is it for destruction? Is it for hurting somebody? Is it for your own manipulative gain? Or is it for you're sharing it because you want to educate somebody in love or to acknowledge maybe they have their own perception, but their thing is maybe they're not quite knowledgeable on it. So maybe you can grow that conflict. Remember, you can grow it rather than conflict. Take that conflict and flip it around, educate them, help them to understand. So in my college degree, I studied Black history and Black studies and Black and African culture and African studies. And a lot of people don't see things the way that I do because I've actually studied it. I've gone there. I've lived in Japan for years. A lot of people think, no offense to anybody out there, that sometimes the Japanese are rude because they're always pushing in and pushing around. Well, the reason why they do that is their country is so crowded, they have to get ahead. But when you educate somebody in that, that is huge. That last month, this is your opportunity to do that. That's just examples, All right. So just, don't feed into that energy. That is him just saying, yeah, come on, feed into it, come on, fight. That's Mars. Yeah, come on, go. Mars is a warrior planet, and more, they're not going to give up. If you know the old history, warriors do not give up until one of them's dead. So that, and this is this dude. He is going to fight till he has your heart. Do you know that if you believe in, the divine or God or devil or whatever your faith is, do you know that the negative energies, the thing that they want the most, the number one thing out of universe, out of anything that they want? Because if you look at any belief system, what is the most important thing to any energy, any belief system? Does anybody know? Can they put it in the comments? I'll tell you what it is. But it's actually your heart. That's everything. Guard your heart, protect your heart, watch your heart, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's where that is. So let's see what the rest of the month has to hold. We are having to also look love. Where's love at, Felix? Where is love? Where do you get love from? What body organ do you get love from? Spirit, heart. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So the next card out is we have the Knight of Pentacles. Now we can't leave out our careers. We can't leave out our jobs in this next 2 weeks. We cannot not focus on that because that's where our income comes from. That's where our finances come from. Many, 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 many people out there don't have that much finances, which I'm really surprised there isn't much here in finances, but I do understand it is a lot about the heart. But the thing is on our finances, it's slow. The economy here in wherever you are, I don't know if you're in another country or here, but here in the United States is going to be extremely slow. The offering is there, but thank you. Again, we are fighting being controlled by the government versus controlled by community. And this again, for our finances with people who aren't working, they have to really try to look at the government to a point, but then we have to be really careful on how we look at that. I live close to Portland, Oregon, and one of my suppliers for what I do, I mean, I do leather work. I'm a horse person, but I do saddles and tack and stuff like that. So one of my suppliers is downtown Portland near Old Town. And that place, I hadn't gone down there. This was probably a month ago I went down there. I hadn't gone down there probably in a year. And I went in there. I was uncomfortable for the first time in my life walking down in downtown Portland. We call it Old Town. And there were so many homeless people. I felt like I was in a movie. I thought, what is going on? And then there began to be tents and people sleeping everywhere on the street. It was horrible. Now, that was a month ago. I just went down there 2 weeks ago again because I had to go return something and get something more. And it had twice the amount of people, twice the amount of tents in front of the store all over, twice the amount. This is what we really, our economy and what your economy is. You got to think about these things in the next, from now forward to the end of the year. How are you going to manage? Think about now. We have to look at the now because as the last week shows, we are thinking about the immediate, but we do have to think about long term as well. If you're in a couple, it's time to sit down and say, hey, what are we going to do? We're just barely making it, or one's not working, or they're both not. What are we going to do? What is our plans? Plan A, plan B. If this happens, what are we going to do? Plan B. This is because finances are going to move extremely slow. The economy is not going to return that fast wherever you are. It's not a pretty picture at all. And this is the hard part. I'll start crying. I'm an empath, so I'll start crying. So that is heartbreaking to me. Sorry. Anyway, it's reality though. You have to really look at it. This is truth. This is the divine truth. I want to say, I don't want to say that. He's saying, you better get your shit together down there. Is what he's basically saying. Come together. And I'm like, yeah, that's easier said than done down here, really. But you know what? We cannot see what's on the other side. So I can only hear what I hear from people on the other side. Yeah. I like this one. This one's victory, though. This is victory. So, and this is an accomplishment. This is a good thing. So when we hit the 31st, okay, so let me explain about the 31st. 31st is our second moon of October, and it is a blue moon. And it is also called a blood moon or a hunter's moon. So the history of that is that old in the days, it was actually originally called a blood moon at first, but the pagans changed that because what they used it for was hunting at night. So it's harvest time, September, October, harvest time. So that is for harvesting all the vegetables and everything that they would to supply and get ready for the winter and pack away for the winter. But the blood moon was really, really a big moon because that was the time that they could go out at night, get squirrels and all those kind of things, your animals that live at night, squirrels, rabbits, things like that, and kill them And so they could actually harvest that for meat for the winter. But the pagans changed it from the blood moon to the hunter's moon because people didn't like that bloody bath kind of thing. And that's the only truth about it. And when you do hunt, it is. My stepdad used to be an avid hunter. So that's how that came about. So, but with the blue moon, this one here doesn't come as often. And we have with the two moons in 1 month, all these energies. I've never seen so much energy in 1 month in my life, not only with the Mars retrograde, which we're only half through the Mars retrograde. So that's why I'm saying you really have to think about all these things that are going on in your life, really planting the seeds properly and making sure that they're going for these next 2 weeks. It's a step-by-step it's like a baby step process, because on the full moon, the blue moon on the 31st, it's going to be really unpredictable because we have so many energies on that same day. We also even have 2 retrogrades happening in one day. That doesn't happen. That's extremely rare. So it is going to be extremely unpredictable. And to be in a full moon, if you're in the medical field, I'm really sorry. No, seriously, because it is a crazy time. I have friends that are nurses, and they believe in the full moon because it seems like everything seems to happen. That's because the energies are going crazy. This one's going to be even crazier. So, but it also is a day of awakening, and it is a time, the day before, usually the day of, and the day after is a huge time of awakening. Like when this first full moon came out on the 6th. I don't know if any of you guys watched your signs, but my energy when I did those readings was tanked way below sub-zero. I was sick. The energies were pulling so strength. I was sicker than a dog, didn't know what was happening. I mean, I was fine, and it had nothing to do with being physically ill. I forgot that the energies were pulling not only the day before, but the day after. This is what's going to happen if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling like you're at your last straw, if you're feeling stretched to the limit. Just know, hang on, take care of yourself, rest, keep doing the things that are going to keep lifting those vibrations and those energies up. You're going to need it. So prepare yourself to plan to do some fun things around the 30th and the 31st and the 1st. Things that are going to lift you up, make you feel good for yourself. Because you can't keep that up. You got to lift those vibrations. So, and the reason why I thank you is you have to lift those vibrations because you won't have that worry of which way do I go? How do I go? How do I determine? How do I figure it out? What's the answer? I don't know what the answer is. Because if you really do that, if you really start getting in your deep depth of who you are and really coming out, your awakenings, your awareness, you're going to become clear. For me, all this stuff is like, okay, I already knew this. It's like when November's coming, I already sort of know what's going to be happening. Being an empath, I'm not at the top level. I'm always learning, but the thing is, I'm pretty up there as far as understanding energies and awareness and awakenings. I'm not a psychic, but I'm extremely aware and know and have the energies and feel. And that's what this is getting you to. You're getting your level up to a spiritual knowledge. And the only way to do that is listen to your intuition and ask the divine. And once you start talking to the divine more and more and more, they'll come through. He'll come through. Because that's the only way I make decisions. It's like, I can't tell you in depth of what's going on in my life, but my daughter's like, Mom, seriously, what's going on? I said, just got to wait. You got to have trust in what you can't see, because there is more in the unseen than there is in the seen. If you're a scuba diver, you'll understand that. Especially if you go under the ocean. You cannot imagine what is down there until you actually go down there. You believe and you go down there. So, been there, done that many times. It's beautiful. If you're not a diver and you want to dive, dive. It is the most amazing thing ever. It is the most amazing. Otherwise than jumping from a plane or flying. I love that too. I guess I'm an extremist. Okay, so let's get to the final and see what's going on. Now, I haven't touched anything about love, have I? So there's nothing about love in here. And thank you. It's not about love. I got it. So I get that. I get it's not about love. This is actually the whole next 2 weeks really is about awakening, awareness, listening, allowing to listen to the whole perspective. I'm surprised I didn't see the hangman in here. I really, really am. I'm really surprised I didn't see the hangman. But we sure have some decisions to make. Really big. This is huge energies. People might be pooping it. Whoever watches, whenever they watch it, this is not something to be playing around with. These energies are huge. These things that are coming up are going to change things drastically, even from this month to January. Mark my words, when you come back and watch this, it'll be so different by January. Very different. I don't know how, I just know. That's the new path. Everybody asks me, how did you know? I don't know. I just know. And I have to have faith in the unseen because you know what? The divine has never stirred me wrong, has never lied to me, has never, and has always been there. And I trust in him all wholeheartedly, but I don't know why I know this. I just know that I will tell you a month ago, I had some knowledge. Something's coming up in the next 2 to 3 months. Now, before COVID came out, I had that same feeling. And I said, there's something coming. And then I got to know about COVID. Oh, okay, that's going to be coming to the United States in a couple months. And that's this. And it's just, I don't know how I know these things. So just know that things are going to change drastically. Yeah, they are going to change drastically. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to ask the divine if there's anything else for the rest of the month, this full moon, awakenings, awareness, pay attention. Yeah, making sure that balance, you're not only balancing finances, you're balancing and making sure that your spiritual, your mental, everything is in order. Yeah, and then the best of the best. 10 of Pentacles, you're going to have everything at the very end. You just have to really pay attention. The only way you're going to get to this point, though, is really, really start paying attention to your intuition. Okay? All right. So for those of you that are single, I'm going to go ahead and push these aside, and then I'm going to pull 3 cards and see what your love life is going to be like for the next, I'm going to say week, because the energies change. If the divine wants to show me 2 weeks, he'll show me 2 weeks. 2 of Swords. Oh my gosh. That's 3 2 of Swords for you guys today. Holy Toledo. Very undecisive. Who's undecisive? Somebody's got somebody in their love life, but they're undecisive. Awareness, remember. 2 of Pentacles. Undecisive. The reason why you're indecisive is you're trying to juggle too many maybe relationships at a time, too many things at a time that you can't see clearly. So if you've got love coming your way, you're not going to see it because you got too many things going on. Or if you're trying to show somebody, you know what? You got to, if you're trying to show love towards somebody, you need to just go for it and stop sitting on the middle of the fence. Because you know what? That's going to give you a sore craw. All right. But no, really, you're trying to juggle too many things, or you're trying to juggle too many. You got to decide what you want. If you want to just do hookups, you got to be honest about that. If you want to, have a long-term relationship, you got to be, you want to be friends with benefits, you got to be honest about that, because that's what's keeping everything divided. So forever that's for, you've got to, whoever the person is that you're interested in, or they're interested in you, you need to start setting the pace. Yeah. So we got Judgment in reverse. in reverse. So judgment would actually be that something's ending, okay? Something is going away and that something good is coming, but there is something good that you have the decision to make because it could end. So somebody's on the fence about something. Now is the time to, as my mom used to say, I'm not going to say the S word, poo or get off the pot. That now is the time, is to make a decision and step on one side of the fence or the other. You're wasting somebody's time if you don't, and your own. Yeah, devil upside down. It's supposed to start. So whatever you're working on with this person, it needs to happen. Make it happen. You can do that. Maybe this is where this is for you. Focus in on the center, the center, and go for it. Law of attraction. It's also too like the oracle. It didn't show up here, but it's what you long for. If you're trying to find love, embrace love. Pretty much the same thing. So that is the reading for the new moon and the rest of the 2 weeks for October. Just be really, really mindful on your awareness of yourself and the people around you. Be really mindful on the intuition of when you should actually speak, and if you're speaking out of love and light, or what is your purpose for speaking out? Is it to bring animosity? Is it bring manipulation? Those kind of things need to stop and go away. That's what's keeping you stuck. Okay, and also too, this is a time to plant the seed, whatever it is, who you're with, whatever. It's time to sit down and communicate what you really, really want and focus in on the positive, not the negative. I will just say that, this is going to be a really, really stressful and a really, the energies are really hot and very intense. Especially when it comes to politics, racism, those kind of things. So again, be really, really mindful how you want to be treated and acted and spoke to, and go and speak to those. The energies are powerful here. This is going to be changing. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the first part of November. So I will definitely come back on that. So I'm also going to be doing next week a live video on empaths and some abilities and what the awakenings of those abilities sort of feel like and all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when that's coming on. Also too, like down below, I don't know if it's down there or not. I have dailies now, so I'm going to be doing dailies. So they're 1 minute, really short, just to get you started for the day. And I usually post them around 3:15 in the morning, and that's Pacific Standard Time. And then I also now started a Facebook group for Divine Warrior Intuitive. I would love for you to come and like my page, join. Actually, you can join, and that's a place where we're going to actually just talk, converse. If you have ideas, if you need more information about empaths, you're an empath, you want to share your story, your information like that, that is a place to do that. It's going to be a confidential, more of a group support kind of group, but also to share. If you want to share stories like I do. So thank you for coming today. I hope you guys, this was good for you. I hope it helps you through the next couple of weeks with the energies. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. That's all I can say. And then I will see you. Let's see, I think the next reading is the 19th. So I will see you then. And please share, like, and subscribe. I would love that. Need more people on my channel. All right. Talk to you later.